Good morning. My name is Rick White from 180 Biz, and this is my just one thing. I saw this really cool quote, and I said the first step to getting anywhere is to decide not to stay where you are. I love that quote. So, what I want to talk about really is, at first I was thinking, well, it's just a motivation issue. I think the issue with most shop owners today is they're worn out, they're worn down, right? Mentally drained, emotionally exhausted, and sometimes still physically beaten up by being on the floor. The reality is when you're this drained, when there's that much going on around you, the idea of change doesn't sound exciting. It sounds dangerous. I think that's really important to understand. When you're frazzled, when you're at your wits' end, the idea of changing doesn't sound exciting. It sounds dangerous. From the outside, it looks like resistance, right? From the inside, it feels like self preservation. That's why you avoid more pressure. It's not that you're avoiding growth, you're avoiding anything that might add more stress. You got create conflict, that might create conflict or might even make a situation worse. So, what happens? You stay comfortable because it's familiar. The familiar zone is where you know which fires you're going to fight, what problems are going to show up, and how much pain that you're going to expect. It's not growth, it's predictable suffering. It's great to have you here. When you're already beat up, predictable pain feels safer than unknown risk. With this familiar zone, it's not the comfort zone, it's the familiar zone. You know what it says to you? At least I can survive this. But you know what it doesn't tell you? It doesn't tell you that lie is the source of your pressure. That is the truth. It's where you're being the bottleneck, you're carrying your shop emotionally, and you're never getting ahead. You're only just barely catching up. But here's the thing, staying on shores feels safe, but the waves are what keep beating you up. You know what's underpinning all of this is this fear of failure. Like these fears don't stop you from drowning, they just keep you treading water. And I think that's a really big thing. What you've got to understand, here's the reframe. Staying where you are, why is that really harder than moving? See, most of the stress isn't coming from the actual change. It's coming from carrying a shop that won't change. Growth doesn't add pressure, it redirects it. See, moving forward isn't about piling more on. It's about finally taking weight off. Here's the thing. I want you to understand that movement doesn't create instant outcomes. What it does is it creates progress. And that's where the special sauce is, right? That progress, letting go of the shore and moving forward doesn't change everything at once. It creates progress. And that progress, that's the moment you realize you're no longer stuck. You're going somewhere. Progress replaces the hole, the abyss you were staring into with direction. It reminds you that your future isn't here, it's unfinished. And what's amazing about all of this is once you start to feel progress, you start to feel something you haven't felt in a long time. That's hope. You see potential. And I think that's amazing. I want to give you a question. So the first step when you're looking at making the change, the first thing we got to decide when you want to change is that you got to leave where you're at. The first step is deciding I can't keep surviving this way. It's not a massive overhaul. It's not even a plan. It's just a decision not to stay on shore. Here's the question. If staying where you're at is costing you energy, peace, and even your health. What exactly are you trying to protect by refusing to move? I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great week. Please share this video. We have our Shop Owners Roundtable, second Thursday of every month, February 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you want more information like this, we have our Pocket Business Genius webinar series. There's over 90 webinars. It's like having me in your back pocket anytime you want it. Thank you so much. God bless. Set a goal, then plan to measure the change. Manage the progress. That's what it's really all about. Doesn't mean it's perfect. It just means we're not going to stay stuck. I'm going to tell you that I would much rather do something and make a mistake than stay where I'm at. Because after that mistake, I'm more educated. I can do more things. I can make additional adjustments. And as Henry Ford said, failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. Instead of imagining everything go wrong, imagine what could go right. That's exactly it. Everybody, have a great week. We'll see you next Monday. Go make some money. Bye-bye.